don't we have a park downtown? Why can't we have a education center where children can go to? One of the things that was brought to my attention 6 years ago, maybe more, was using the Phoenix Center as an education center. How great would that be to have it right there, where our children can have a place to go? We need to invest in a state of the art library. We need to invest in schools. Parks, recreational activities for our young people. We need to invest in our small businesses. Right now, downtown Pontiac, there's an opportunity to bring a lot of support in businesses where our young people could look at the downtown and possibly the Phoenix Center as an education unit, an EDU, with everything the young people need. We need to invest in our young people, okay? We just need to invest in our young people.
And that's what we're talking about right here. If we take the needs and wants of these young people and thwart them or bury them, then we will not grow Michigan. They will leave. They will go to where they can grow.
And Brenda, there's something very interesting that you just put your finger on, and that is teach to passion. We don't do that. That's a naturally occurring thing that unfortunately is lost by the time they're in third grade. And we're teaching to a test of generic answers to questions that are meaningless and tied to no frameworks. And who remembers that stuff? There's nobody, okay? So,
but by the time those third graders graduate from high school, the entire scope of the world will have changed. So we're teaching them something that will be useless in the time that they need it the most.
Can't say any better than that.
And we're so on the same page. So how, given that, can we use this festival, this United Nations opportunity to deliver that message? And what we're suggesting to leadership is we're going to do a design charrette for a whole year, because there's so many things in the region that, in education being one of them, and probably in our opinion the most important, but there's economic development, there's the things that are going on in Detroit, there's the thing that's going on in Pontiac.
I totally agree, Jim. As you were going over this pictorial here, it reminded me of my first year in the legislature, and the only person that could really comment on this in this call is Jonathan. But I used to have this huge wall of sticky notes.
We've seen pictures of those. Yes. We've seen that. I love it.
The creativity, once again, just to be able to say, even with our seniors, there's still a room to be creative, and when we thwart that opportunity, we actually diminish growth in all areas. You mentioned two key areas of what you're focusing on, which happens to be the two key areas that I'm focusing on, which is education, but is second only to economic development and financial literacy. Get people from where they are to where they could be productive. So am I running out of time? These two people, Jonathan and Damiana, I could talk to forever. If you notice, Monica, go back to the display you had a minute ago where you were putting sticky notes up.
Okay.
I just want to show Jonathan and Damiana just one thing I noticed to let you know about these two individuals. See that picture up in the upper left-hand corner? It's over there. We're surrounded by, once again, sticky notes. Okay.
That's right.
Where we were, what year was that when we took that picture, Monica?
2014.
2014.
And the woman that's on the right, on the left of Jim is Superintendent Kelly Williams.
Right. We had the makings. And look what it turned into.
Yeah, look what you delivered.
Look what you delivered. You brought $50 million to the party.
Now we just have to fight the fight on the local level to make sure it's inclusive. But we got this.
You know, we're getting there because without the help of the local level, we wouldn't have been able to get what we are. And the ramifications of bringing that $50 million to downtown Pontiac will matriculate throughout the whole entire community, whether it's embellishing the starving businesses on Saginaw Street or going right out into the community where that opportunity to have jobs, the opportunity to have training or whatever will begin to grow Pontiac. And it's a
But another interesting thing that happened during the pandemic was a lot of tactical urbanism where people really, we just very quickly reworked our streets, that in a lot of communities, they reduced the number of lanes available to car traffic and either added bike lanes or were expanding sidewalks so that then retailers and restaurants could do outdoor seating and outdoor shopping. And so you just saw this kind of shifting of space away from cars to people and pedestrians and bikes. And I think inadvertently, it really showed us what's possible and how to think big and how to think visionary. And it was this great way to kind of test some of these prototype, essentially, like a design thinking process, prototype and refine these interventions. And so I think in the next, the coming years, I think the transportation landscape could be totally shaken up. It'll be really interesting to see what happens.
It's funny, Lindsay, I was just like last week in a conversation about the Phoenix Center, and I said, why don't we just close Saginaw Street completely, turn the whole thing into a walking street, and the whole, and then the Phoenix Center can actually shine, right? It'd be the thing that it could be. Yeah, wouldn't that be beautiful?
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's so much smarter than trying to fix, they're talking about fixing the drive-through underneath and all that. It's like, no. Make one big loop on the outside. And the question of what to do with the parking lot is let people park their cars there so they can get out and walk, right? I mean, just you need a place to park, and then get out of your car because everything else is walking.
Right.
Yes.
It would be beautiful. It would be a beautiful thing. I know. I actually, because the unrolling of the loop project is, keeps coming. I've been dragged into some of those conversations, and
It's bad.
and I know it is. And that was my answer. Actually, why don't we? It's been a while since that conversation started. Why don't we look at it differently now?
Yeah.
It's been at least 10 years. So let's think about another solution. We don't have to do the thing now that we know we have some money. Why don't we do something, at least think about something different, but we seem to be stuck. So
something smart versus just doing something to do something.
Exactly. I mean, there's that, it was my idea 8 years ago, therefore we should keep going at it,
The false premise was people couldn't find Pontiac. I always found that somewhat suspect. Okay.
No, the problem is there's not enough interesting reasons to come to downtown.
Yeah.
So make it fun and interesting to come downtown,
They always do everything backwards. They always want to do the physical, like redo the loop rather than just doing what you have said. And when they wanted to demolish the Phoenix Center, it was so that cars could come streaming through our little 6-block walkable downtown that could be a super block if we're thinking about Barcelona and what places like that are doing. I'm not sure if Ryan's on right now, but that's they're doing a lot around looking at Barcelona super blocks, and we have the perfect infrastructure as is, but we have to do community engagement. We have to bring our community to our downtown and make a reason for them to come.
I'm so excited that Grizz Night is happening, and thank you guys for having the idea for the scavenger hunt. The great part about the building that we're in right now is this is a place where as a grown man I can come and drink. And so I want to say that this is an awesome place. I'm so excited that Grizz Night is happening, and thank you guys for having the idea for the scavenger hunt. The great part about the building that we're in right now is this is a place where as a grown man I can come and drink. And so I want to say that this is an awesome place. I'm so excited.
She was bringing the students downtown, and we've done pilot programs, but this was a very informal that just kind of blossomed from us meeting and saying, hey, let's go tour the city. Ethan, tell us what we did over the summer and what your thoughts are.
So what we did was we wrote
notes that what we wanted to do to help the city and what we wanted to add into it. And we put it on these boards, and then one of them said future, past, and present. So, and we came up with ideas to make everything useful, not just say I don't want it and just throw it away. We made something new in life, and we helped it.
Wow, thank you for that. And Michelle, what were your takeaways?
We stumbled we met by accident. It was pure accident, just going for a random walk. And these kids were allowed, they came up with so many great ideas on what they would like to see in the city. And I really believe and agree with Jim and Monica that getting the young people into the city brings families into the city, and it's going to create a future for the city. And there's so many possibilities and so many things that can happen if people work together. And I love the idea that people like Ethan and some of the other great kids we had this summer can be part of that.
Wonderful. Okay, we're going to shift into our
do that, but you know, the rest of it was just a total distraction. But anyway,
Where
that's
did you
a whole.
where did you teach?
I taught studio art, drawing, design, sculpture at Oakland Community College for 48 years.
Wow.
I started the art department at the Auburn Hills campus in 1968 when I graduated from graduate school.
Our real passion is education.
Well, I get it. You know, it's been my passion for most of my life. You know, I mean, I could have retired, you know, decades before I did, and I didn't retire because I was concerned about them. There was always this pressure hanging over us that they were going to dismantle the program. And, you know, it used to be that Orchard Ridge was the center of the art department, but the program that I developed at Auburn Hills was a larger, more comprehensive program that met the needs of a greater variety of interests. And I knew myself that it was ultimately going to end up being the center of the art program, but no one would believe me. And now it is, you know, because they closed down Highland Lakes, you know, because they sold it, and the program in Royal Oak is minimal, and the geographics of
Wow.
Southfield and Farmington have become nominal, and most people, the greater amount of people live out in this area and north of us. So Auburn Hills has become really a magnet, you know, for the population in Oakland County as far as the community college goes. So it's
you
the
were
program
you were 5 decades ahead of your time.
Well, I had a vision to build a program once I started, and I was very fortunate that I had a couple of deans who were very cooperative and understanding. And you know, I got a big grant from the state of Michigan way back in in the 80s to buy equipment, and I got a new building, you know, as a result of lobbying the college and having some, you know, very supportive deans. And so, you know, what it is what it is. And, you know, a lot of people don't really know how it came into being, but, you know, I'm sharing it with you just because we're talking about, you know, education. So
yeah.
I've
So
always
are you tracking education right now?
Pardon?
Are you tracking education right now?
I only track education as it appears in different websites on my phone, like through the state of Michigan. And
did you see the Growing Michigan Together report?
Growing Michigan Together?
Yeah, the governor's report on education. where she
No,
outs.
I haven't seen the report itself.
We're going to get you. We're going to send you that report.
Do that.
So she outed education for all the reasons that you just cited, and we were part of a conversation with them and Brenda Carter to get some appropriations to address this problem. And this problem that she pointed out is about, in her mind, the taxpayers who are leaving. The state of Michigan is 43rd in the country.
Oh, I know, it's very low.
And the country is 36th in the world.
Yeah, I know. I know reading and math.
So here's the
very
magic.
low.
Here's the magic, and you just described it, and you will know it as sure as we're talking here. The dollars that are spent on education in the state of Michigan is 56 billion every year.
Okay.
And the problem that we have is huge. But they will tell you, we don't have the money to fix it. What they mean is they don't know what to do to fix it.
Well, they don't have any vision or leadership.
Right.
You said it all. You said you had a vision.
But you just described it. But you just described it. And here's the killer issue. And this is what we're on the verge of proving to them, because they don't understand. It isn't about the money, but of course it's about the money, but it isn't about the money in terms of instruction. The instruction model that we use is to put everybody in the automobile factory. Still, even though we don't have automobile factories today, it's still the model we're teaching to. And the real shift,
the thing is that they're right now that they're still focused on that, but they're focused on it at a different level, but they're also very focused on the trades. And so those programs are not educational from a liberal arts instructional point of view.
Right.
People aren't being educated, they're being trained.
Right.
There's a difference.
Thank you.
Now we're going to get right to it, though. You just described it. And guess what? The thing that you described, the motivation element of learning, is free. It's called curiosity.
Right.
Which is at the heart of everything creative and imaginative and the future tense. This is what we're attempting to prove to them. And we know that it works, and you certainly know that it works. You lived it, and you're still living it. And it's free. And it's free. Now, the problem they have is they had $650 million that they were going to take away from the pension fund, the underfunded pension fund. And they got a little bit of heat when the governor first made that available to everyone. They got a little bit of heat. And so they shifted from, we're not going to take the money from the pension fund. We're just not going to have you contribute to your pension fund to the tune of $650 million. You can use the money any way you wish. In other words, to continue the failure. So now we're at a point where we're going to bring creativity and imagination to bear on the problem and change the instructional model to reflect curiosity and imagination, as opposed to a trained proposition for something that no longer exists.